gosh.
I
gotta start with that note. Too early in the morning for that.
Man, it's cold in here. It's in the booth. It's about Messenja.
CantonJones.
Ramona Jones, yeah.
Everything can get in the booth. You say the MC in the booth. She's low-key. You podcast with the interview.
She done been around these songs too long.
Gotta put some names over in the limousine. You gotta pay attention.
Nah, and
And we got a winning team by the thing. Then we hit up with a bada boom, bada bing.
You know what it is when we in the booth. Speaking to the house, speaking to the youth. No matter what, we gon' tell the truth. See time house, you gon' see the fruit. Put the kid tag, gotta put it in the goal. To get the best, gotta get the loot. Find another way to preach, we don't need a super. General in the game, but
You got music going in your head all day.
CantonJones and Messenja in the booth.
It's so loud. Thank you guys for joining us in the booth today. Please like, share, and subscribe to the show on Facebook, YouTube, and all can't get it out podcast platforms, including Apple, Google Podcasts.
And if you would like to
So loud.
if you would like to sponsor or advertise the show, please hit us up at intheboothpod@gmail.com.
But everything
Or
else
if
is so
it's something
loud.
you do, you got information, or you do something special, you know, you might want to put some of your information on the show. Hit us up. You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with you?
We're trying to bring different people in.
And a real band.
Different. But yeah, if you're a band, you got a band. For real, hit us up.
'Cause our band-
man, if y'all dope,
We don't need no band.
if y'all any dope band in Atlanta, hey man, if y'all want to come over here and set up like Arsenio Hall,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We have us a band come in, but have a real band.
Because our band now, we love
And we
it.
can perform our jump intro live. But you like a doggo Chuck E. Cheese thing, but
Why is it so low? Why is it so low? I don't understand. Okay. You finish your salad. You finish your song. Let's go.
Okay, let's
Okay.
play the video. Yeah,
Okay.
let's get into this.
Amen.
This man got a salad. Man, how you get a salad at breakfast?
When white people say, well, racism doesn't exist, I know why they say that. Because I've been in them rooms when they saying that. When I kick it with black people and they're like, all white people are racist. I know why you're saying that. All the while, I have the privilege and luxury of not having generational trauma because my parents were born in Nigeria. So man, my method is removing some of the sting because I don't have that sting and trying to deliver a message in a manner that people can receive it.
Okay. Let me tell you why what you just said offends me.
Okay?
All right. You saying that you don't have generational trauma and you didn't mean it this way, but the reason, and it's, I have to name it, you saying that you don't have any generational trauma in some way meaning, or that in some way meaning that your delivery method to white people is going to be either more effective or more sanitized is, to me, dangerous. And let me tell you why. Everybody that you just named and what you're talking about does what they do in different ways. I don't think that any of the things that they do are necessarily harmful. But what I could say is a black man, a prominent one, acting as an emotional butler for white people and serving them the most milquetoast, unspicy, unseasoned brand of racial discourse and accountability possible could definitely be harmful. Like, we're fighting for our lives. And to me, having a conversation like that at that particular time, it's not that it's a different method. Everybody has a different method. Is that it's the wrong method. Is that it.
Okay, so he's basically saying what? That this man is
Uncle
speaking
Tom.
as a Uncle Tom, a sellout.
Uncle Tom, you're giving a watered down version
Of a black man.
of what they need to hear.
Right.
They saying that's not effective.
And not giving them the truth.
Man, I've had a lot of. I can't say that I've experienced personal racism like that. I mean, I felt it, you know, and I kind of put two and two together. Like, man, I think that happened.
Yeah, after the fact,
yeah,
too.
and I'd be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, hours.
Did that happen to me because I'm
Days
black?
later.
Or did they just call me the N-word? But, or did they just belittle me
Because God knows you.
You know,
Yes.
well, maybe. But I feel like in situations where you're trying to communicate to another race, you're not watering down who you are, but you're trying to communicate to them. So,
so that they can understand.
right. It's you change when you talk to kids because you're trying to communicate to them. I talk to kids. I'm the upward basketball coach for my 7-year-old, and you have to talk to them a certain way. All right, guys, we're getting ready to do this. You got to make everything exciting. There's a way that you communicate. So your communication changes based off of who you're talking to. And so if not, then culturally, some things will get lost in the cultural exchange because they don't understand what this dialect is, what you're talking about. I know black people understand this, but white people don't understand this. I know white people understand this, but black people don't understand. And then I think things get so.
I think his argument is that we keep doing that, assuming that they don't understand it. I think they understand by now.
Well,
And we keep talking to them like they're kids.
That you can't understand everything that you haven't been around. So you can say somebody should get it by now, but you can't. I've been living with you for 20-something years, and we still learning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fun, but you can't. You can't make assumptions based
Who you
on.
saying should get it by now?
I
She's saying
think
that.
the other commentator, I don't know his name, but he's saying
on
by
top.
now,
The one on
by
top.
now they should understand why we keep talking to them like they're babies, giving them baby food. They know by now that
He's
police
saying about-
brutality
he's
is
saying
horrible
water
for
down-
black
yeah,
people.
he's saying
He's watering it down.
Now here's something that I learned recently. I did Mama Dorothy's show when I thought that I should do the safest songs that possible, and she wanted rap.
Yeah.
Now this is a 70. How old Mama Dorothy?
She's
70,
70 something.
75 maybe. I hope I ain't 70s.
And she's Caucasian.
And she's white. White woman has a radio show. I mean, a TV show in Augusta.
Yeah.
And I love them. And she changed my perspective because I felt like, well, a white woman that's your age
Wants the watered down
wants the
version.
watered down version. And my watered down version of anything still got a lot of kick, sugar, salt,
808, everything else in it.
everything watered down by me still ain't got a lot of water in it. So, and so I was really nervous. And when she, I had on the Mitch Mac, Nikes that day, and when she kind of made fun of it or made light of it, it really made me feel like, wow, she get it and she accepted. And a lot of stuff that I was saying, so I went and changed my song list.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, My Day. No, don't play My Day. Let's go with I Can't Help It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she understands it and she's bringing me to do me.
Right.
And I was like, wow.
That's why I was saying that we assume that they can't understand, but I think
But you don't. Sometimes you don't know. And I've been in so many places to whereas I know I'm supposed to do me, but y'all don't look like y'all with what I do. And this is in black churches.
yeah.
I know y'all
part.
know who I am. Y'all know what I do. And then in the time where I looked at everybody and it looked like they were with what I did and I did it, I still got kicked out of church. So
Yeah.
when you know what I'm saying, you're trying to communicate the best way you can without being offensive and without somebody offending you. And so I get what both guys are saying, and I understand that, now the guy that said that he hasn't had any trauma in his life because his people are born in Nigeria, I was like,
From Texas though.
yeah, no, you.
I think he was raised
You
in
still understand.
Yeah, you get it.
And what are you calling
that's why I
trauma?
agree.
What are you deeming as trauma?
Yeah, that's-
and your characteristics, personality, and how you communicate with different people groups. is that shaped by the fact that your parents were raised in another country? Bro,
Yeah,
you
but-
still
do
raised in
you.
America.
Yeah, that ain't got
but
nothing to do with
that's
you.
So-
but what he's saying, I guess, is because they missed out on the civil rights movement, blah blah blah. That part, coming in the back of the restaurant, water hose down. That his family didn't experience that. But to me, that speaks of a disconnect of this conversation that somebody that's connected to this conversation probably needs to have. I agree with the guy that was speaking at the top. I mean, it's almost to the point where kind of like now they want to hide a lot of things in history.
Right.
That like no. I don't believe in that. No. We ain't had nothing. Tell the whole truth. Why are you hiding it? Number one.
Right.
No, tell the whole truth. Tell everything you did. Show how brutal it was. There, it was ugly. Okay, show it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about let's water that down and
Exactly.
and I think that's what he's saying, or that is that unseasoned. You ain't putting no season. You're giving them a bland.
So how would you communicate? Because there are people that communicate with white people in a way of you should know this about our history, what you did to our forefathers. We were slaves, 40 acres and a mule. Talk they have sat through that. How effective has that been in change? Now, I do understand that when Martin Luther King marched, that there were white people that really helped out in that, and I feel like that part is not highlighted enough to show the union and the unity between black and white. Because if we start to not just make the Martin Luther King holiday and movement and everything a black thing, and say it's a unity thing because there was a lot of white people had to help to make that happen. Same thing with George Floyd. Man, it was amazing to see different countries that were not African American, different people around the world marching for one cause, and people were unified. It was white people throwing stuff and getting arrested and all that type of stuff. To say that this is a unity thing, this is not necessarily a black and white thing, this is a humanity thing. And so people are allowed to express themselves like they do, so you hear, what you gonna hear, what type of communication you gonna hear in the streets of Atlanta, when something go down, man, what I'm saying, what up, shout out, we finna, and how they talk and all that. When people start to communicate in anger, they start to act more like themselves. See, we can start this thing off listen, people, what you need to know, and we can be very, very educated and state the facts, but when you get offended, you look, you're going to go back to...
It's kind of like our show. We start off nice and then...
We do.
And then...
Look, but I'll never just say, you old big head. No, I don't never talk about him. It'd be the point. I ain't never Joan him. Never. I ain't never said nothing about you. Never. You can go back to show. I know we're off subject now, but you can go back to shows. I ain't never talked about you. Like, you ain't no good father. You know what I'm saying?
Not like that. I know you talking about Joni. I remember a couple of times I had to defend
yourself.
Joni? No.
Yeah.
I ain't never just talking about your hairline or nothing like that. I ain't never talking about your shoulders being off.
Yeah.
That one arm look bigger than the other. I ain't never said no junk like that. Oh my God. Well, let me get to the point. He ain't never. I'm just saying. I'm just playing. But I think when it comes to communication, when people start getting in their feelings, that the cultural things, if we start having a slang, argument in our feelings about, and then people start using slang and stuff like that, that's more cultural. White people are not going to understand what we're talking about. We're not going to understand what they're talking about. You talk about the slang that kids use nowadays, talking about blicky, but I'm finna run and get the blicky. You don't know what he's talking about, and when he in his feelings, he's not trying to explain to you that a blicky is a gun. So when it comes to heated arguments between cultures, that's where lines of communication are lost. Because when we start arguing, so this man is saying, because I'm not traumatized, I feel like I can still communicate And I understand what both of them
Because he
saying.
has an
Yeah, he's
advantage.
not gonna-
And the other guy is saying you're giving them the watered down version. You're not really expressing how we feel. But does that mean, okay, when you do express it in a way that is got a little bit more punch to it, will people receive it? So is it how it's being delivered, or if the person is going to receive it or not? Because there's
I mean, the
I don't think
question
it's
is, what are you
effective.
receiving? Are you receiving the whole story?
Right,
Or are you
I don't think it's
receiving
effective.
This week
Sugar-coated.
teach of salt that you throwing in here.
So what is he saying that's watered down? The communication period, or
The actual
what's
plight.
being communicated?
Yes, what's being communicated. The plight of the black man, whatever it may be.
Because he's saying, I've been in situations where I hear white people say, "Oh, racism doesn't exist." He said, "I've heard that, and I've been around black people, and they said, well,
All white people are racist.
Yeah,
Right.
So he's trying to say, well, because of my disconnect, and I'm
Now he's disconnected on both ends.
he's
disconnected
we
from
weren't
the-
here when all the civil rights movement stuff was going down.
Yeah, he wasn't
We
alive.
yeah, I'm saying, but he came over when they came over. America wasn't there, so he really didn't. He said, "I'm outside of that experience, so therefore, let me try to give an open ear."
And it's not
and
the
a
civil
balance.
rights movement. That's happening today. Like you
Yeah.
can experience that
Yeah,
today.
Yeah.
Like you still connected, bro. If you get pulled over,
That's what he said.
You's a
Yeah.
nigga.
Yeah, but he felt like he said, "I have the privilege."
Yeah,
that was his words. I have the privilege of my parents growing up, coming up out of Nigeria,
Yeah,
right?
that don't make any sense.
Yeah. So he's saying that
But he's born in America.
Yeah, he lives in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, so
Or
like,
lived in Texas.
what is he's still being born.
That has nothing to do with it. That's what he's saying. Like
he's saying that
What do you say?
the past trauma. If he's saying past trauma, he's talking about people that's been in this country for generations. And the trauma being passed down, or the trauma, or the residue.
I don't have the trauma
of
and
it.
the residue of civil rights.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Yeah, but black
So you
people in
can't-
general do.
I can't even say
Explain
that.
But how we feel about the white guy getting off and the beating in Memphis.
That ain't got
That ain't got nothing to do with civil rights.
yeah.
But
But we get up and I feel like, oh, look at this.
I mean,
Yeah.
we fair
Because
because we
we-
also said them brothers
Yeah,
need to go to jail.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we're fair. Like that's not, if
Trauma that's been passed
But
down.
if it was one black person that didn't get off and 5 black people get on, you wouldn't have that same intensity.
if one black person.
If it was one black person, if that white guy was black and he got off and the other 5 didn't, you would have the same intensity. You'd be like, okay, why that guy? But the fact that it was a white guy, it was like, oh no.
Because
We-
we've
you know what
seen
I'm
it so
saying?
much.
You know
That's
what I'm
why.
saying? So that's what I'm saying.
So you feel
I
like
feel like
you feel like white people.
That-
I feel like there are white
the same
people
thing with George
that
Floyd.
said
That was
there are white people that said, why isn't this guy arrested? I really do feel like like we're asking the same question. I feel like they're asking the same question. Like why isn't this guy?
I think they're more like, oh man, it's not gonna go over good. That's what I think they like.
Well, most of them, yes.
Yeah, I don't think they like. I don't know. I don't think they like. Well, why didn't he get? I think like, oh man,
Let's
it's not
get
gonna
ready
look
to go
good.
move to Wyoming.
Yeah, like it's about to go down. Like I think they think like, man, this not gonna go good. Nah, okay. Well, why didn't he, get arrested?
I think
with
there
the
are
rest of them?
I think that. I think
especially the ones that are out there marching
they
with
super
them.
naive.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I think they're more.
They feel
I
they
think-
feel it's
they're-
unfair.
I think they,
And they're-
they genuinely
okay,
feel it's
people-
unfair.
There are friends of mine that I know that are white that have a passion for like things that black people have a passion for. They do, and they're not. They don't act black. They act white. They act. They're of their culture.
Yeah,
but they
it's-
still
it's
have the
some white-
concerns of
some
black
white
people.
that really
So-
don't see color like that.
So I feel like those are people, because there's a lot of white people that can work with us than against us. And I think in this situation, when you're trying to communicate to a friend, see, it's a difference between trying to place blame, and some people should take the blame. And I'm not even saying that it's not their fault, but if somebody wronged me, if I wronged you, right? And you're trying to explain to me, but you're offending me while you're trying to explain to me what I did to you. I stepped on your foot. Let's say I stepped on your shoes, and I didn't know. You come to me, and the first thing you say is, Ian, you stepped on my shoes. Before I can offer an apology, I got to work with my offense first. So now I'm operating out of offense because of how I was approached, as opposed to me stepping on your shoe and you coming to me, bro, I know you ain't mean to do it, but you stepped on my shoe. Oh, bro, I'm so sorry, man. Bro, let me wipe your shoe off. The response is different based off. So if you're talking about...
But the content of what you said didn't change.
Right. It didn't change. Yeah. However, how it's received. You still said you stepped on my shoe. But how I received it and my response is totally different based off of how you told me.
I don't think that's what he's talking about. He's talking about content.
Because one guy's talking about,
he's talking about content.
Yeah, he's talking about the content. He's not talking about how you come across.
You're not telling what's actually happening.
You said the content of what you said because he's talking about situation. He said, "Hey man, I didn't mean to bump your foot," or "Hey, in word, you bumped my." The content was you stepped on my shoe.
Right.
So I don't think he's talking about the way.
He has the content. He's not watering down unless you're talking about history.
He's saying
you're talking about history.
Yes. It's watering down that because they're doing it. They're trying to do it in the schools. They don't want everything.
The premise of that video was history.
Do you know we didn't learn everything that happened in school?
No, we didn't.
No, nowhere near close to what happened.
To America, like the whole thing about everybody's position is a lie.
Yeah. So with that being said, what he's trying to imply is that I don't think that's an effective method to make people grasp it if you don't see the full picture of what we're dealing with.
I felt like he was talking about the way we communicate, and because I don't have that trauma, because trauma makes you respond a different way. I don't have the trauma. My communication is different from a person that has trauma. That's what I thought he was talking about. Like, man, I don't have trauma, because trauma doesn't change the fact that it happened. You see what I'm saying? So he's talking about trauma. He's talking about trauma just like I stepped on your foot, but you came up to me and you was a little upset. The information doesn't change. So I feel like he's not talking about the information changing.
But the trauma makes all the information come up, is what he's saying.
No, the trauma says
he's not saying how you say it.
Of how it's communicated. If it's communicated a certain way to a certain people group who feel like it's their fault, we feel like it's your fault, or you feel like it's your fault. Either way. Or you might not feel like it's your fault, but I feel like it is. The way it's communicated all right, because for one, how do we fix it? Really should be the question for right now. Like, because a lot of times we keep blaming, but okay, man, how do I make this better? Bruh, I stepped on your foot. All right, you told me that. All right, then I see you 5 minutes later. That's the dude that stepped on my foot. See you couple. All right, man. Yeah, I see you a couple next day. Yeah, that's him that stepped on my foot. Okay, we keep saying you stepped on my foot. Okay, what do we do? How can I fix it? Where do we go from here? All right, and most people move away from somebody who's consistently offending them, even if it's their fault. Man, if you can look at. I hate to use this example, but a man that cheated on his wife, sometimes they don't go back because they can't deal with having to go through the process of her healing. Because she gonna keep bringing it up. She gonna keep bringing it up to him, or he keep bringing it up to her if she cheated, and it ain't gonna never heal because he can't deal with the trauma of trying to get past that. So once everybody's healed, level heads, okay, I know I hurt you. I know I did wrong. What do I do, and how can I fix the situation? And I think that I wish I knew their names. I know the football player was on the bottom, the other guy was on the top. Yeah. But I know that when you're starting to have a discussion of how do we move forward, that's a level-headed discussion as opposed to...
And I think the content needs to be a full content conversation.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
I don't think this is a content
how
thing.
You're saying it.
Right.
Yeah, it's how
you saying it is very important.
But I don't think he's addressing that. Because I think he's going along with, again, what's... like.
It's Van.
I was told
so y'all know it's
Columbus.
Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay.
Yeah, I was thinking
at the top.
Van Lathan.
Who's at the bottom?
That's Emmanuel Acho. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think what we was told about Christopher Columbus was the whole. First of all, the whole story and the true story.
Right.
The true story is if you ask the natives who that guy is, they won't say nothing about a patriot.
Right.
They say he's a terrorist.
He's a killer. Right.
Yeah. So we had a story told by an oppressor.
Right.
And they told their side of the story and scratched out a lot of stuff.
So you're saying that he is perpetuating that same story?
No, what I'm saying is if if there's going to be a conversation, then it don't need to be the watered down version of it. We need to tell the whole story the way, and so that you can get a full scope and broad, a full articulated scope of what the history is, so you can understand. Like, once I knew more about history, I understood the fight more.
Right.
This is what Kyrie is dealing with right now.
Right. Well,
get the truth on
trying to put the truth on blast, and whether people agree with him or not.
That's what he's dealing with now.
So
researching history,
the full truth. So
yeah, so don't say if you
check it out.
By knowing more, the more history you know, the more knowledge you have, the more understanding it causes you. Number one, to move different.
Quick question. Do you feel like there are white people that know real American history?
Some, yeah.
I do.
Not all.
All right.
Not all.
Because if they and it probably through generations the lie was told to their kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got the same textbooks.
We all learn the same story.
So, all right, the responsibility to communicate the truth to us is primary.
Right.
I believe that we need to know before, I know that other people need to know, but we need to know who we are and what happened to us. I watched The Woman King. It was a real good movie, but one of the things in that movie is they showed the slave trade, and they showed how each tribe captured one another and sold each other into slavery. All right, I learned this in 2007 when I went to Africa, and I was in the castles, the castles that they captured and did the slave trade. It was a eerie hallway, and the thing said "point of no return" at the top. It was just so chilling to be in those castles. And the African guy that was giving us the tour said, when Africans captured Africans, they sold them to the white man.
Yeah.
And I said, what? I said, what? I said, what?
Yeah,
I said, can you repeat what you just said? Because up to this point, there's a vision or picture in my head of white people getting off the boat, going through Africa, grabbing black people from their families, and when I started to realize the truth about, because when you realize the truth, and then when you realize that the base of that truth is with you and your people, then we can solve the problem. So it's like, all right, because as long as we blame, then the person that you blame has the power to solve the problem. Yep. You got to say, man, it's my problem. I got it. Don't worry about it. My wife, she hate when I say that. Y'all ain't gonna do it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Which means I've taken the situation in my hand and I got it. I got total control of it. Now you can't say nothing to me about what happens with it when I do it. So I gave it to you. You didn't do it. Okay. So therefore I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. So in that situation, when I learned, bro, we sold us into slavery.
And I didn't know that until you came home and told me.
And I was like,
that means I never learned that in school either. And how many other people never learned that?
So what I'm thinking is we're an inferior people, that these people came in with their guns and came, and so the lie is the inferior part of it. When I was like, nah, bro, you did that to yourself, or we did that to each other. Then it gave me well, if we did it to ourselves, then we ain't so inferior.
Right.
No.
And it just gave
that's
me
why
this.
They don't teach you that.
It just gave me this. Wait a minute, then. It gave me this. Not that I want war with anybody, but it gave me this. Oh, you ain't so bad. Type of feeling. And
I feel like this.
But the truth has to be right.
The more knowledge you have,
and that we ain't so bad. Like it just gave me a different mindset to who we are. But I had to go over there to learn that.
Yeah.
And so
About American history.
and
go over there
when that truth is told, and I know that's why they put that in that movie, to let y'all know, hey bro, this is how it really went down.
Yeah.
Like we captured each other. We sold each other into slavery. Like they were making a deal with a black man in that movie. I don't want to tell the movie for those who ain't seen
but
it.
everybody kind of knows the history of the transactions.
They don't.
Of that.
I know I didn't. And I didn't. And I was good and grown. Had went through school. I didn't learn it at Morehouse. I did not learn it. Now they probably taught it and I was asleep. but
That's probably how that went down.
I did my own history. I mean, you're not gonna get in the class. You got to do your own history.
So
like I knew about
how many people are like that? Though?
Yeah, the homie and all those tribes. I knew that about years ago because I understand. Me really studying the word is what takes me back. I got into history through the word because I wanted to study ancient times, history, culture, how they move, why they move like this or whatnot. And so I followed it all the way up to, how we got here. Mm-hmm. But the more I learned, the more I was alerted, the more I was aware, and more apt to share with other people, hey, this is the truth. This is not, this didn't happen this way. We celebrating like Columbus, and then Columbus didn't even get to America. Like the whole thing. Like I'm like, okay, this whole story ain't even true. And then the lies has been, covered up. It's like y'all made up a story.
And you know what the person with the truth looks like when everybody have the lie? You look crazy. But it's the truth. And when you tell the truth amongst the people who everybody believes the lie, so that's why
the thing is they're never going to know the truth if you don't put it out there. I mean, like, you're just going to keep it down, or
right. And that's what I feel like my man was saying as far as he understand the understanding of white people saying that racism doesn't exist because that's what they were told. And then I understand why black people say that all white people are racist because of the inferiority of what you believe.
Yeah.
And if you start to believe it, thus goes back to his first statement, we didn't experience that trauma, so I can give you a level-headed understanding instead of a traumatic one.
But he's stepping in the situation down the road. That's what I'm saying. There's a disconnect.
But he's still talking to his people that's his age. We got to go. But and so man, y'all like and share, and y'all make sure that y'all comment on it. This is a really, really good topic.
Yeah. But at the same time, he's coming into something that's already ongoing versus somebody who's came up in it, family, generations entrenched in it, okay? So everything came together basically the story is not fully told by you is what he's trying to say.
But they don't, he don't, a lot of people don't know the story. Now he might have to learn the story, but a lot of people don't know the full extent. You can't say that you gotta learn the story. Right, but that might be what he's saying. You gotta learn the story. He might be saying you gotta learn the story because you can't tell me I'm watering down something if I'm telling you all that I know.
Right.
Everything that I know, you can't tell me that I'm watering. You might just know a little bit more than me. Then it might be watered down to you. It might sound watered down because you know a little bit more. But what I learned is I'm giving them what I got.
Please like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys 9 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.